choose her side. Princess Anne reveals a nod to bring Has back to royal family without Meg at RAF Brize Norton. Princess Anne attended the retirement of the C-130 Hercules and the stand-down parade of the No. 47 Squadron on Thursday. The Princess Royal, who is Honorary Air Commodore to RAF Brize Norton, reviewed members of the squadron on parade in front of invited guests, to mark their proud history. The parade marched to the music of the Central Band of the Royal Air Force in front of two static C-130 Hercules. Past and present members of the squadron watched the Hercules carry out one of its last spectacular flypasts. The Hercules will retire from service on June 30 and No. 47th Squadron will be stood down at the same time. The Hercules will be replaced by the RAF's newest transport aircraft, the 22-strong Atlas A400 fleet. And in this event, she accidentally revealed that Prince Harry would be welcomed back into the royal family with one condition, only without his wife, Meghan Markle. Royal commentator Jenny Bond has revealed Princess Anne's words that if the Duke of Sussex were ever to return to home soil, his family would take him in despite the ongoing feud within the firm. According to Princess Anne, Harry, without Meghan, would be forgiven and welcomed back into the royal fold in the fullness of time, Bond told OK! magazine. Despite that, Bond notes that the notion is still unlikely at the moment. I think there is still enough goodwill towards Harry, well, to the old Harry that we all remember, she told the outlet. He could recoup the ground he's lost and in time and be welcomed back. But I don't think it's anywhere on the horizon. Bond's comments echo that of Princess Diana former butler, Paul Burrell, who recently suggested that the British people will welcome the spare author with open arms. I have no doubt that when this happens, because we all know that it will happen, when it does happen then he will return to the United Kingdom and I think his father, the King, and his brother, the Prince of Wales will both greet him back into the country with open arms, the ex-royal staffer claimed. There is an element of Harry we all love, we just don't understand why he's doing what he's doing at the moment. Elsewhere, King Charles' former butler, Grant Harold, also suggested that a potential move to the UK is very possible. Grant Harold, who worked as Charles' butler from 2004 to 2011 when he was Prince of Wales, insists a return to Harry's home soil is a likely move for the exiled royals in the future. I'd never say never, it's always possible that one day he might want to come home, it's possible that he might buy a property here if he wanted to come over more, and Meghan didn't want to come over, Harold, 45, exclusively told the Post. Meghan doesn't really have any family here as such, all her family are in the States and that's where Harry has decided he wants to set up his home. The Sussexes sensationally shut the door on royal life in 2020 and hightailed it across the pond to California. They have only returned to the UK a few times since. Princess Anne and Prince Harry have always had a tender relationship, according to the Daily Mail. A royal insider told the publication, the Princess Royal has always had a soft spot for Harry and they both have a wicked sense of humour. People talk about Prince Andrew being the spare but Anne was the second born, too, and particularly since Diana died has always felt a duty to support her nephew. Both Anne and Harry have a great sense of humour and more in common than it might seem. Like Harry, Anne has deviated from the norms of the royal family in many ways. She's the only royal to have a criminal record, after her dog attacked two children, and she's known to be somewhat of a reckless driver. Besides getting into trouble, Anne also made history in positive ways, like during Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, when she became the first woman to participate in the Vigil of the Princes. Then, there was her against the grain decision to not give her kids HRH titles when they were young. Princess Royal argued in an interview with Vanity Fair, I think it was probably easier for them, and I think most people would argue that there are downsides to having titles, shortly after the Sussexes decided to give up their own titles. Still, only time will tell if Anne and Harry's similarities will be enough to bring the royal family back together.
In the front of a city with 5 shares, what about a children? with the one breathing dimension. For the freedom waiting with you and me, oh. With a ride up on the side, oh, we deserve us a kind. In the fire, the hole, we know we live in your eyes. Together it's all about beyond every frontier. For the freedom and the flame, for the ears, I'll be oh, we there, oh, the shadow, yeah. Whoa, I'll tell us all to be alright, yeah. Whoa, we there, the shadow, right, and the break, yeah. You and over water in your eyes. Thought I'd try a storm in native freeway, riding out our destinies in the day. With the realize more we can't of fear. For the freedom shiver, soaring up here with the real.
Choose her side. Princess Anne reveals a nod to bring Has back to royal family without Meg at RAF Brize Norton. Princess Anne attended the retirement of the C-130 Hercules and the stand-down parade of the No. 47 Squadron on Thursday. The Princess Royal, who is Honorary Air Commodore to RAF Brize Norton, reviewed members of the squadron on parade in front of invited guests, to mark their proud history. The parade marched to the music of the central band of